Well, folks, here we are again for the weekly forecast. During this past week, we did see off and on thunderstorm activity across the state, not widespread except for yesterday where we did see some severe weather breakout. But at least everybody did see somewhat semblance of some precipitation. And it's the nature of the beast at this time of the year as we start to see more scattered thunderstorm activity. And if you fall under the thunderstorms, you tend to do very well. And if you miss it, you wait till the next opportunity. Now, this aggressive pattern looks like it's going to continue. Doesn't mean we're going to see a complete washout as we go forward in time, but certainly we're going to have daily chances of thunderstorm activity as we sit right at the intersection between the battle of warm air to our south and the cooler air to our north. So let's get to the models and see what we'd expect as we go through this next 7-day period. And as we go to the upper air pattern, we'll notice that the waves that were responsible for our thunderstorm activity have moved to the east, but we have another wave that's moving across the central plains, and that should touch off thunderstorm activity, particularly across the southern half of the state this afternoon and during the overnight hours. And as you move north, there'll be lesser chances. Broad-based coverage here, anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch with isolated thunderstorm activity. We may see precipitation totals in the 1 to 1.5 inch range. Now, as we get to tomorrow, we'll basically move all of that energy to the east. It doesn't look like we're going to see any significant activity across the state. It should be a decent Father's Day. There might be some pop-up thunderstorms, but it's going to be fairly isolated in nature. Now, as we go into Monday, we'll notice that the ridge tries to build in across the central Rockies, and we'll see a cooler pattern developing across the northern plains once again into the central and eastern Corn Belt, and eastern Nebraska will be much cooler than western Nebraska. But overall, we're just looking at the chance for an isolated thunderstorm, but no broad-based coverage. And as we get into Tuesday, we see the pattern pretty much mimics itself. We're basically in a slight northwest flow, so we'll see some cooler temperatures in the east, with the warmer air trying to build into the southwestern part of the state. Now, as we go into Wednesday, we have another trough trying to dig its way into the western United States, and some of that energy may shoot out over the Rockies, so we could be looking at some thunderstorm activity. The best chances look to be across the western part of the state, with much lesser chances as we move eastward. Now, as we get into Thursday, we'll see that that upper air trough tries to make it in a little bit more quick or closer to us. We'll have a southwesterly flow over western Nebraska in the afternoon hours, and basically we'll be looking at the chance for thunderstorm activity redeveloping and then moving east during the overnight hours. And as we get into Friday, we'll see that that trough still remains in place. We have some warm air bubbling up, and some of the temperatures in southern Nebraska may actually make it up into the low to mid 90s. So as we look at the temperature forecast, what we are looking for is temperatures basically stuck in the 70s to the north and the 80s to the south, with a warming trend dramatically as we get to next weekend, and we have those daily chances of thunderstorm activity. In terms of the 8 to 14-day forecast, the warm air slides to the east, and in terms of precipitation, we'll notice that the majority of the precipitation remains well to our east. We're kind of stuck in the normal category with drier conditions towards southwest Nebraska.